What's up? I'm 4 minutes early. Ooh, we got a Karen McDougal interview. I'll watch that, but I'll watch that on my own time. Thank you very much. Yes, I am wearing a Motorhead t-shirt. Shout out to Lemmy, Mickey D, and Philip Campbell. I'm going to tape this Karen McDougal interview. Oh, it's almost over. Never mind. I mean, you got to give it to Trump. He fucked some hoes. He wasn't Clinton porking fat interns. He's going after supermodels, prostitutes, porn stars. That's the kind of president I'll vote for. I'm just kidding. Now, hopefully, tonight's Earlverse doesn't involve all the trolling we had last night in my stream. Frankly, it was out of control. I mean, I think Stormy Daniels, back in the day, she's not a, supermodel, but for porn, she was like I would say an aged, slightly more aged looking Jenna Jameson. Yeah, she hasn't aged well. She put on a bit of weight and, great jugs. I don't like the white trash tattoos, but like, hey, what are you going to do? I don't think too many people in this stream would turn her down on a cold night. Thank you very much. I know I wouldn't. Boing. So, yeah, Jenna Jameson, you talk about someone where plastic surgery did not help. I mean, you look at her like even before the prime of her pornography career, she's beautiful, and now she looks like Bret Michaels. Earl, do I watch MILF porn? I don't watch porn, even though it looks like I produce it. Hello, that's a Skakel classic there. I just don't, porn to me has never been appealing to me. Like if you're with a chick, what up? Are you ready to rock? And you want to watch porn to set the mood. Is watching a scene with a guy with a dick twice as big as mine gonna turn the girl I'm with on? I don't know. And the close-ups, I mean, when you have like guys like Jack Napier, Vince Voyeur, Mr. Marcus, TT Boy, Lexington Steele, etc., penetrating a woman. I mean, the vagina is a beautiful thing, but not after those guys have been in there. Looks like that thing Boba Fett fell into. Hello! It's a Skakel classic there. So I don't watch porn. I really, it doesn't turn me on. And it's too graphic for me. Like I watched a Max Hardcore film. Like, my God, that is, I don't know. I've always been, the Sarlacc pit. Sorry, I thought it was the Scarlac pit. David Lee coming in hot, aged beefers. I don't know William Zoom. I do know a lot of Jeff Stryker, Alex Sanders, Harry Reams, TT Boy, Tom Byron. It's the but I can't. Funny enough, I can't name that many women. Seika, she's old school. Like I got to struggle with Jenna Jameson, Houston, although Houston wasn't necessarily a porn star. She was more famous for the gang banging. Jasmine St. Clair, my friend from XPW. Have you ever watched Samurai Cop? I don't know what that is. So, no. Am I desensitized? I just, I have an 85-inch 4K, 8K capable television. You think I want to watch a porn on that? No, thank you, Ari Jane. No, thank you. We have no moderators in here right now, so it's Buck Wild in the stream. Hopefully, no trolls, no trolls. Jasmine, I think Jasmine had a crush on me or has a crush on me because when I go to XPW shows, I'm literally the only guy backstage or in the crowd not trying to fuck her. And I'm sure that's kind of weird to her. Like, this is the one guy who doesn't want to fuck me. Sorry, I gotta watch my language on these things. I don't want to get reported. What a tape of P. Diddy beating the shit out of his girlfriend in that LA hotel. What a great guy he is. Marilyn Chambers. Yeah, Seika was really did some fantastic film work with John Holmes. Queen on. I have to be careful now with the ray gun. I might have to come up with a different thing because I've used the ray gun so much. The Steve Stevens part of the autograph is now not really there. Better filmography. Well, let me do this right. Queen on 9.99. Better filmography. Arnold or Sly? Thank you very much for that. That's a tough one, to be honest with you. I mean, I would say Stallone's the better actor by far. I mean, if you look at some great, I mean, obviously Rocky's a very well acted movie. Even Rocky 2 was very well acted. Nighthawks I thought was a very good acting movie. Um, Rambo. I'm a fan of Stallone's because he faced so much hardship. Not to say Schwarzenegger didn't, but like even with Rambo, he was told no. After the success of the what was it, Rock? At least the first two Rockies, um, he was basically told, "Hey, bro, no one wants to watch a fucking movie about a Vietnam vet losing his mind." And he got it made, and now look at they're still making sequels. I think Schwarzenegger, he's not the actor Stallone is, but hit for hit, they're pretty even. I mean, obviously, if I had to pick my favorite Schwarzenegger movie, it would be Predator. My favorite Stallone movie, it's definitely Rocky, and it's also because 25 years into comedy, I really identify with the struggle of basically everyone telling you no. Not only in the movie, but how he got Rocky made was every studio passed on the film. He finally finds one relatively decent sized studio that says, we'll make it, we'll give you quadruple what you want for it. And Stallone's going, well, what's the catch? The catch is we don't want you in it. I think they wanted like Robert Redford or Eastwood or something. Eastwood would make sense. I guess Redford too in the late 70s. So just the fact that he got it made was unbelievable. I mean, with Rambo, he had a little bit more of a cachet to say, "Hey, man, I'm Stallone. We're making this movie." So yeah, Steve Stevens does have plenty for sale, but I don't want to keep asking him for an autograph ray gun. Um, I'm not in the inner circle. Um, of Ray DeVito. So, I'm like, of all the comics at Hackamania, Mr. Numbskull, I'm Dabble versus Jason, I guess. What up, Ben Jones, Chris Mack, everyone? Welcome to the jungle. Um, well, I mean, basically, Stallone was essentially the studio was trying to bribe him to not be in it. I mean, thoughts on the Diddy video? What a fucking scumbag, man. I mean, anyone who hits a woman is just like gross. So then you start looking at, okay, let's go into the allegations of the other women. And not that it makes him guilty on those, but you go, okay, he is capable. Um, I mean, Commando's a great movie. I mean, a little over the top with, Vernon Wells as this homoerotic Freddie Mercury bad guy. I'll say it, a clean-shaven man makes me feel like I'm flirting with a babysitter. Well, I just got waxed all over yesterday. Woo, did it hurt. Um, yeah, but now, True Lies I like. It's not one of my favorite ones. Yes, if you go on, if you go on, like, TMZ, it's all over. I like Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold because, it was also the cast of Stone Cold, the great Lance Henriksen. I mean, it's just like he can do no wrong. Also, he was the original Terminator. I believe there are pictures of Lance Henriksen in the Terminator outfit. Um, and the great Canadian strongman Tom McGee in a very good fight scene with Brian Bosworth. And if you have the chance, look up the dark match in WWE. I think it was in Canada where it was Tom McGee going over Bret Hart. Um, I am clean right now. I'm always clean. I liked Eraser. It was a good. It's kind of an under the radar. Eraser for Schwarzenegger is kind of like Cobra or maybe Over the Top is for Stallone. Like it's a very popular movie to this day on cable and direct TV, but you don't really hear it talked about a lot. Yes, Lance Henriksen still alive. I watched Aliens this morning at 3 a.m. Um, but and I thought Bosworth was a pretty good actor. Given the role. Um, Well, I just love anything with Lance Henriksen in it. Um, yeah, there were some great scenes. And speaking of aliens, what is the actor's name who was also one of the bad guys in Eraser? He played Drake in Aliens. He's in a lot of things. Let me. William Zoom, who played Drake in Alien, Mark something. So I'm not familiar with The Condemned. Uh, and I've never seen Beyond the Law, believe it or not. Over the Top is, does it hold up? No, it doesn't. I tell you what does hold up is you guys hitting the like button. 25 people in here and only 13 likes. That's outrageous. All in this stream right now. Can you do a Virgil podcast? Already did it, Mr. Z. I don't know the episode of Inappropriate Earl, but if you look up, uh, no, it was not Mark Summers. Um, I'm trying to think. Mark, he was friends, he was with Vasquez and Aliens. They were always like linked together. What's going to be hard to do a part two when Virgil's dead, Mr. Z? He did not show me his hog, but he probably would have. But he was kind of on his best behavior because his managers were here. Yes, thank you, William Zoom. The great Mark Ralston in Eraser is one of the heavies. Also killed early on in Aliens, but he had some good scenes. Um, that's one of my favorite heel face turns is um, when Virgil turned on the $1 Million Man. Am I jealous of Mike Buschetti? No, I'm not. I'm happy for Mike. I'm happy for my friends when they do well. Um, I never saw Ghostbusters 2, to be honest with you. Ross Incognito was just a Cobra reference. Kay, I will finally meet Kay in 2 weeks from tonight. Meaning Kay will be at the meet and greet at Hackamania. Well, I used to go to Sweet Cheeks, Smooth Cheeks, Gabriel from Smooth Cheeks, but now I go to Waxology in West Hollywood. Um, Near Dark, wasn't Hart Bachman in that, or am I thinking of another movie? The great Hart Bachman. I've tried to get Hart Bachman on Inappropriate Earl, but he's kind of a hard guy to nail down. Well, it's funny, I watched, as you guys know, a couple Mondays ago, I saw Alien in theaters, and then because I had seen Aliens is on cable much more than Alien. And it is funny how it's kinda like in terms of the side characters, like Bill Paxton is basically the new Yaphet Kotto, always complaining about money and having to do extra work. Uh, I mean, Hart Wachner, he's probably sick of talking about Die Hard, but that is his go-to role for sure. Oh yeah, the Jenny Wright. There was some movie I think you should bring RoboCop from Capital Combat on Inappropriate Earl. I would love to interview Peter Weller, but I don't know if he would be a great interview. Like I could sense he's probably a little surly. Um, well, like William Zoom, I feel the same way about that when one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies is the 1977 movie Roller Coaster with who was Timothy Bottoms, I thought a great bad guy, Richard Widmark. Um, and it was the first movie in theaters that did surround sound. And I remember being in the theater and the my seat shaking because of the surround sound. So you felt like you were on a roller coaster. Timothy Bottoms, not a porn star, Mr. Z. Um, Unfortunately, a small movie named Star Wars opened the same weekend, so just bad luck. Um, my first movie at the cinema, whew, I would probably say Star Wars, I think, and then um, Big Wednesday. That was Star Wars. I think this is one of my super memory kicks, and I think my first couple movies in order, because I lived in LA. Right next door to us was Westwood, which was the place to see a movie theater. If you had a date in the 70s and 80s, you took the girl to Westwood. I think it was Star Wars, Roller Coaster, Grease, Big Wednesday, Escape from Alcatraz. I believe it was. George Siegel was the dad. Famous, also, if you're a music fan, the Sparks were in a scene toward the end of the movie. But it was kinda like RoboCop style casting because Timothy Bottoms had never played a bad guy before, and the acting in the movie, Richard Widmark, and I believe it was also Steve Guttenberg's first role, but he had an unspoken part on it. But the great Richard Widmark, who I'm a huge fan of, uh, I'm not a troll man. I do not live under a bridge, but in a house. So, well, a Colt C, good for you. I think you are the fake Colt C, though. We have two Colt Cs in here, and my PP key is fugged. Well, that's 32 likes. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Thank you for that helps the algorithm. Um, I remember Corvette Summer with the great Mark Hamill, I believe, from Luke Skywalker. I welcome the trolls in here, because there's really no one who's good enough at trolling that's going to ever hurt my feelings, to be honest with you. I mean, I roast battled Jimmy Carr and K. Trevor Wilson in Canada on international television. No one in this stream is going to say anything that hurts my feelings. Um, so, Annie Potts, great and Pretty in Pink. So yeah, I grew up in a prime era of going to movies. But that's why I had such a good time uh, watching Alien in a movie theater. And My Bloody Valentine, 1980. I don't know if the order, but I saw the Clint Eastwood, the monkey movies, Any Which Way You Can and Every Which Way But Loose. Um, and speaking of OJ, it's funny you just mentioned his name. I remember seeing the movie Capricorn 1. That's a great movie. If you really wanna see a kind of a movie that's never really talked about, Capricorn One, great movie. And OJ was good in it. They limited his lines, clearly. But I'm trying to think. Caddyshack, I saw in the theater. I mean, I saw the big ones, Stripes. I mean, a big thing in my grade school was on weekends, all the kids would just get Taps. I remember seeing Taps. Uh, well, apparently, was Every Which Way But Loose, I think, was the first one, and then Any Which Way You Can was the second. They had to switch out Clyde the orangutan because the original Clyde was getting too violent. Um, and Ruth Gordon reminded me of my mom. My picture was at the celebrity car wash I go to, which is literally the next street over, was by William Smith. I was honored. Uh, yeah, he played Eastwood's fight. I guess the main event fight in the second one. Um, yes, I agree with that, Queen on. Uh, so great. Tank Murdoch was the bad guy in the first or Clint Eastwood's fight, the heavyweight fight in the first um, Every Which Way But Loose, and Michael Talbot from Miami Vice, I believe, was in the second orangutan movie with Clint Eastwood. I mean, Clint Eastwood had a good run. You want to, we were talking about Stallone movies that are kind of under the radar. A great, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Dirty Harry script that got changed around. But one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies is The Gauntlet. Um, Great movie. Yeah, William Smith also good in Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn. But The Gauntlet by Clint Eastwood, great cast. Um, I mean, the old white dude who was the main bad guy in The Gauntlet. What just looking at his face. Magnum Force, great Clint Eastwood movie. The Gauntlet, I always felt like The Gauntlet. I've run The Gauntlet in LA Comedy. Queenon, you are a financial king. Thank you very much. $4.99. Better filmography, Pacino or De Niro? That's a tough one. Um, hmm. I mean, oh boy. I mean, that's could be a tie. But because you paid to get an answer, I'm gonna say I like more Pacino's movies, but it's real close. I mean, Cruising, Dog Day Afternoon. Um, I mean, Cruising's a great William Friedkin. I mean, it's the real deal, that movie. Um, of course, Heat, but that's a both a Pacino and De Niro movie. I mean, I think Pacino's been in less shitty movies than De Niro. Um, it's kind of like Stallone's done more shitty movies than Schwarzenegger. Eiger Sanction's a very good Clint Eastwood movie. Good call, Doctor Nova. But the Gauntlet, I'd like to do the backstory on that. I'm almost sure that was a Dirty Harry script they reworked. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean Scarface, Carlito's Way. Um, but I mean, De Niro's like so many, Taxi Driver, and I mean, he started to lose me right around The Fan with Wesley Snipes. Well, now he's just a grumpy. Well, now they're both grumpy old men, but they're old. They should be grumpy. But definitely two of the greatest actors of my generation for sure. Yeah, I mean, he counts as both. I wish they were in more scenes together. But I could see why they weren't, because it made, the few scenes that they were in together that much more impactful. Um, yeah, I mean, I think after The Fan, with De Niro, I kinda checked out, and, then he started doing the comedies, and he is pretty funny, like, I mean, Cape Fear is obviously a great one, The Untouchables, uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know who I'm more angry at, to be honest with you. I mean, you're in your 80s and you're having kids, that's kinda selfish to the kid who's gonna basically grow up without the dad. Um, I don't have really a problem with the age difference. As someone who's dated many women that are much younger than me, but, that's another podcast. Uh, I mean, that's, Doctor No, that's a solid pitch, write it up and I'll send it to their agents. I mean, Backdraft was okay. In theory, I mean, I liked, De Niro and, Copland. I thought him and, Stallone. I thought Stallone stole the show. But you go Godfather versus Goodfellas. I mean, Casino's a great movie. I mean, it's pretty even. I mean, it's 1 and 1A in terms of who made the better films. I mean, now I'm starting to think of all the great De Niro films. Uh, but I think Pacino had more hidden gems than De Niro. Like, De Niro's highs, I think, were higher than Pacino, outside of Scarface, but his lows are much lower than Pacino's lows. Um, but that's a great question, Queen on. I mean, it's a very tough call. Hold on, let me get the hockey back. Oh wait, hold on. CNN's. I don't like you to direct you kids away from the Earlverse, but CNN's about to play the surveillance video that shows P Diddy assaulting his ex girlfriend. Um, I mean, they've both done what 100 movies. He's probably a similar amount of movies. So, who's won more Oscars? That would be William Zoom. If you're still here, I mean, the video does not paint P Diddy in a good light. I mean, grabbing her by the hair, throwing her, kicking her. Um, it's not a great look. But I've always said this. You could show a video of OJ killing Nicole and Ron, people would still stick up for him. Okay, thank you, Queen on very much. What up, uh, Mr. Urbane? Dinner. I mean, so even their Oscars are pretty close. Uh, it's I like Casino. I mean, I've seen, Casino and Goodfellas are movies that, I watch no matter what. If I'm watching television, I flip the channel, I watch it, and I still get excited at the scenes you should get excited in. I mean, just a great cast. Um, of course, it's great to see Don Rickles. Uh, I mean, the Deer Hunters are great. I mean, uh, you know, the Deer Hunter is a great movie. Of course, I think, and this has something to do. I think Roy Scheider originally had the Robert De Niro role, but he had to film, I believe, Jaws 2. There's some kind of contractual situation Roy Scheider wanted to get out of, and they basically said, "Hey, you make Jaws 2, we'll cut you." And I think he had done like 2 weeks of prep work on Deer Hunter in the De Niro role, and he gave it up. So I would have loved to have seen Roy Scheider in Deer Hunter. I mean, he had a great run in the '70s. Marathon Man, Jaws, and I kind of like Jaws too. I mean, it's a movie that it's like Rocky 2. Is it as good as the original? No, but it's not as bad. I mean, it's certainly better than anything that came after it. Um, so yeah, that Diddy video is pretty tough to watch. Mount Rushmore of American actors or just actors. I mean, I would go now we're talking primes, you're not gonna talk about their bombs. I would go, De Niro, Pacino. Now, are we talking, like, main event actors or I gotta put Gene Hackman in there. I mean, really good in anything. Can you name me a bad role of Gene Hackman? Even in bad movies, he was good in them. And then the 4th spot, well, that's a tough one. I mean, I like Clint Eastwood, like, he doesn't have an Oscar for acting, but I mean, Morgan Freeman. I mean, this is like who's the greatest guitar player when we talk about that. Um, this could be a 12-hour stream if we Pauly Shore. I don't know about that. I mean, I like Pauly, but I don't know if I can but I think you're trolling. Yeah, Robert Redford, Jack Nicholson, definitely Nicholson. Yeah, let me take out Clint Eastwood and put Nicholson in. I'm doing a vlog in Louis Anderson. Can you retell the story where you almost slept with him? I might need it for views. I mean, Days with Jordan the Lion. I think Louis was not sexually attracted to me, and I was a little bit out of his age range, if you know what I'm saying. Uh, so you know, so yeah, I would go De Niro, Pacino, Jack Nicholson, and Gene Hackman. Now, are there bigger actors than Gene Hackman? Even in that shitty Will Smith movie, what was that Will Smith movie with John Voight? I mean, John Voight's up there. I mean, Gene Hackman was great in that. I mean, Louis was. I was writing on the Ian Baggs show, and my first writers meeting with the staff of the Ian Baggs show was at some guy's really nice house. We're talking. I'm kind of zoning out, to be honest with you, because I was just going to write the monologue. So I knew already, and I had known Ian for years, so I knew what kind of jokes he wanted. So the rest of the meeting didn't really pertain to me. And so I'm kind of looking around. Whose house is this? This is really fucking nice. Then I look to my left, and there's Louis Anderson in his underwear. And we had a moment in his bedroom. We were talking about comedy. And then he got up with a really panicked look on his face, like, Earl, I love you, but I gotta take a shit. And he like bulldozed right by me into the bathroom, shut the door, and let me tell you something. To hear Sweet Lou taking a dump, it was like construction on the 405. Favorite Will Smith movie was that movie with Gene Hackman. I mean, Hoosiers, Uncommon Valor, which is my favorite war movie, Poseidon Adventure, and of course Jordan and his affiliation with Shelley Winters would vouch for me on that. Um, but then what? Who are my favorite actors? Like, I'm not saying they're the Mount Rushmore, but I would go the villainous John Glover. Gene Hackman. I can say him. Stallone is a great actor. And I'll go Ray Liotta. Enemy of the State. Yes, thank you, Chris Mack. Yeah, I mean Brad Pitt. Tom Cruise is a great actor. I mean Kurt Russell's. I don't know if I would put him on the Mount Rushmore, but like he would definitely be like one of my favorite actors. Robert Duvall. He's up there with Gene Hackman. Um, yeah, Brian Dennehy, one of the great character actors. Emmett Walsh. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale. I mean, there's so many. Like, there's really no wrong answer. It's like I got into a debate the other night with someone and said, Earl, if you could start a hockey team and you could have any player in his prime, most people are going to say Gretzky. I was like, I want Messier because not only was Messier good offensively, but he was dirty and he'd have no problem cross checking you in the face, which Gretzky and Mario Lemieux wouldn't. I mean, Gordie Howe and Messier would be the two guys I would use. Yeah, I mean, now we're getting into character actors. I mean, that probably would be where John Glover would be. JT Walsh, you never really hear people because he died, I think, in '94. But he was like a poor man's Gene Hackman. If you watch any movie with JT Walsh in it, he's great. I mean, Blue Chips, he was great in. And Blue Chips wasn't the greatest movie to a degree. By the way, hit the like button pretty please. Hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. Jordan, the Mount Rushmore of actors' bods. I mean, well, Schwarzenegger, Stallone. Um, Let me see. I mean, Van Damme, uh, Christian Bale in American Psycho. Yeah, how did he die? Was it cancer? You know who they're kind of really mysterious about how he died was maybe one of the great black character actors, Steve James. He was like the go-to uh, black guy in the action movies. And of course, anytime they're with an actor from the 70s and 80s when they die in the early 90s, and there's always a little bit of mystery around their death that you kind of just assume it was AIDS related, and not that it matters. Another guy who died that what was it, Paul Ryan? He was in Crime Story, um, or is it Steve Ryan? Steve Ryan, I think, from Crime Story. He was a pretty well-known actor, but I guess he had a background in dance. So anytime you hear that, you're like, and when you look up Steve Ryan in Wikipedia, it doesn't really say how he died. They're kind of like ambivalent about it. Um, who would have been a good actor from pro wrestling? Well, well, Roddy Piper, but I guess someone who didn't act. I'm trying to think. Rick Rude was good looking. It depends on the role. But they do say that one of the side effects of HIV/AIDS is pancreatic cancer, and once again, I don't care how he died. Like if he was, but it was just like it's kind of weird how it's not been covered up, but they don't talk about it a lot. I believe that's also what killed Benjamin Orr, the bass player of the Cars. Yeah, Mick Foley. New Jack would have been fun. Has a like a bad guy. Strother Martin. Yeah, I look great in Slapshot. Kurt Jurgens, great in The Spy Who Loved Me. Well, I don't know. It's just like you don't really hear, like with Steve Ryan, and I wish I had my iPad next to me, but it just says he died in I think mid '90s. The cast of Crime Story is kind of a mysterious cast. Like Paul Butler, who was Walter, the huge black detective. There's really not a lot on him online. Steve Ryan, there's really not a lot on him. Of course, the Rocketeer was William Campbell. Uh, yeah, greatest James Bond opening. What's funny, back to back are Spy for me anyway. Back to back are Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. Um, CM Punk, I believe, was in an episode or two of the Mayans. Uh, Yeah, but you throw him in like he could have been in Bloodsport, one of the fighters. Am I saying New Jack could win an Oscar? No, but like when I met him when I was hosting the show at the bowling alley, let me tell you, he had a fucking presence and an energy about him and I knew who he was, nobody else did, but I was just praying the other comics didn't start heckling him because he didn't give a fuck. He headbutted me at the end of the night. You a funny motherfucker. MJF seems like he could be a good actor because some of his promos, cross into that line of being real, like when he talks about being called Jew Boy. I'm a Roger Moore guy, Queen on, to be honest with you. GoldenEye or Spy Who Loved Me? I like Spy Who Loved Me. I mean, my favorite Bond movie is really the two with Jaws. Um, now Moonraker's like the Kiss album Crazy Nights. Most Kiss fans hate the Kiss album Crazy Nights. It's one of my favorites. Moonraker, they were trying to cash in on the Star Wars vibe. And my second, I got to be honest with you, I guess I would say it's my third favorite Bond movie was the second Timothy Dalton movie with Robert Davi and Benicio del Toro as the bad guy. Well, I grew up with Roger Moore, so he was my Bond. Like he was, I remember going to see Moonraker in Westwood and The Spy Who Loved Me and being fascinated with Jaws. Well, I mean, I thought Hugo Drax is one of my favorite Bond. Hugo Drax is probably, I'd say Kurt Jurgens and Michael Lonsdale, who played Hugo Drax, are probably my two favorite Bond villains. Well, I mean, they were done differently. I mean, I really can't say George Lazenby was, he was kind of a relatively serious person, and then Sean Connery was more the debonair, almost a gigolo type James Bond. Roger Moore was the kind of the humor James Bond. Timothy Dalton was the darker James Bond, like revenge. And then Pierce Brosnan was kind of a mix between Connery and Moore, I thought. And then Daniel Craig was the stoic James Bond. Who's the most? So I don't know who's going to be. I know for a while it was going to be Idris Elba, but yes, License to Kill. Thank you, Chris Mack. I love the Cannonball Run movies. The most handsome James Bond. I mean, looking back, I mean, Roger Moore did look old. I mean, even in Moonraker, he was 50. Holy God Almighty. Big Burt Perkins. We have a record-breaking super chat in the house. Burt Perkins, $49.99. Big Earl, have lunch on me, please. I need to hear Tales of the Scum Bunch. Burt. You even get a little bit of a click five just the girl for that one. She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing. Do. She pushed me in the pool at a last school reunion. Do. She laughs at my dreams, but I dream about her laughter. Here comes the high note. Strange as it seems, she's the one I'm after. 'Cause she's bittersweet, she knocks me off of my feet, and I can't help sell what don't want anyone else. She's a mystery, she's too much for me, but I keep coming back for more. She's just the girl I'm looking for. Did you sing? Thank you, Bert Perkins. 49.99. This is a good time before we got 15 minutes in the stream. Let's thank the tippers in the house. Queen on $9.99, Queen on $4.99, and Big Bad Bert Mother Effin Perkins $49.99. A record in the Earlverse. No, I sang another Click 5 song to Louis Anderson. That's called Jenny. She keeps her distance, but she won't tell me, Jenny. What's the problem? Can you read between the lines? First you say you will, then you say you won't. You keep me hanging on, but we're not moving on. Thank you very much. You guys have given me hope that the Earlverse with Dabbleverse free talk is possible. Thank you very much, because I've come close to selling out. I did not touch Louis Anderson's microphone, but not a lot of stories. Well, here's the thing about the Scum Bunch, Mr. Perkins. I wasn't really around those guys. Of course, the Scum Bunch is Davey Wester, PJ Stansberry, a real Mark Hatchell, a real rogue group of Comedy Store comics. Of course, there was the time PJ Stansberry was having sex with Blue Iris in the bathroom at the Comedy Store, and we all watched. I'm embarrassed that I thought that was entertaining at the time. Jeff Danish. Yeah, I mean, Danish and O'Neill. I wasn't around the store at that time. I mean, the Scum Bunch were running Buck Wild. Yorsey Thomas, I think, was in the Scum Bunch. I in the mid 2000s at the Comedy Store, Bert, I was not really around. I had gone there in 2000. I'd seen Brody Stevens make an open mic comic cry, and I'm like, I don't know if this place is for me. Of course, I have some Gaylord Dingler stories, Scotty Barron, but the Scum Bunch was really a Schwarzenegger-like commando unit of the. And then you have they were competing with the Dean 15, Mini Dean, Big Black Rod, a couple other losers, and but I wasn't really. I came up to the store again around 2009, 2010. You had Party Pete, Crispy Chicken as well, and those guys were being phased out. How about a Degenerate Tommy story? Well, the first time I met Tommy, I'll never forget. Speaking of Yorsey Thomas, Yorsey was on stage, and I'm kind of watching, and I'm trying to figure out, I knew Tommy was the talent coordinator. And Tommy just comes up to me. Let me finish the story first. Tommy just comes up to me and goes, "Well, Earl, Yorsey's acting like a real beep tonight." And I'm like, I think I agreed with him. I was like, yeah, can I get a spot? And he was like, he's really aping out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the guy in charge? All right. Queen on $99.99. Hello. Create a wrestling card, all time, all hours. What 5 dream matches would you want to see? Before we do that, you get a bonus light show. You guys have made me realize that it is possible to make a decent living doing a stream and not talking about Stuttering John or Ray DeVito or Steel Toe or Shuley or Kevin Brennan. And I've made the decision now that this will be my last stream ever. No, I'm just kidding. Create a wrestling card, all time, all eras. What 5 dream matches would you want to see? In terms of matches that never happened, let's go. Now, some of these matches, for a couple more bucks, you guys could drive with me to Vegas for Hackamania. Hello. I know someone's going to take me up on that offer, so I'm just kidding. Um, Let me see. 5 matches. Go Kerry Von Erich versus Hulk Hogan. I would say Sting against Kamala. Got to throw in a tag team match, so we'll go the Twin Towers, Akeem and Big Boss Man against the Young Bucks. Got to throw in a female match, so I'll say mm, hold on. I'm going to go Viscera against Haystacks Calhoun. Reinforced ring. Thank you very much. And Brian Pillman against the Ultimate Warrior to see who would kill each other first, with Sid Vicious as special guest referee. Now, if we could do it, since you just $100, we're going to have to go and we'll give you a couple off the books undercards for that. We'll go Pat Patterson against the Brooklyn Brawler at the Holiday Inn, room 505. That's a dark match. We'll go Virgil against SD Jones. The winner gets bleached white. Um, Bad News Allen against Bolo Young from Bloodsport. So, yes. Yeah, I mean, Push It. That's a good song, actually. How Many Wrestlers Banged Sonny? That's probably another hour stream. Thank you very much. I just did it, but let me think. This is a record-breaking stream for the Earl Skakel Earlverse. Uh, Thank you very much, um, Queen on Bert Perkins and Queen on. What can I say? I'm humbled and honored by your financial um, contributions. Yes, Bad News Allen against Nails. No, I'm just kidding. And I'm trying to think of other matches that maybe I never got to see. Danny Spivey versus maybe on a undercard, another Danny Spivey versus Sid. Where the what was their tag team? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. I've made so much money tonight. I don't know. Um, the skyscrapers. The skyscrapers turn on each other, and then we'll go a female match. Maybe old school Fabulous Moolah against Trish Stratus. Days with Jordan the Lion. I mean, I hope I have enough gas in the tank for this $5. How much of that money is going to Patty, please? That's not my life anymore, man. That's not my life. Yes, I did get a facial. You see, I broke out a little bit right here. See, I'm honest right there. And I got waxed front and back, and woo! Yes, I've made enough money to get new Duracells. Thank you very much. And I have a backup ray gun that Lois used as a chew toy. Weezy Jefferson in the house. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. We're rolling today, baby. We're rolling. Hey, at this point, pay full price for Hackamania. I've made my money tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done Botox. My sister does, but I don't do it. Weezy Jefferson. What was she is a white woman, a little younger than me, like late 40s, and she's the best. Waxing costs, well, it's basically called a manzillion, and then I turn over and get the butt cheeks and in between the booty crack, the booty hole, everything. It's $100. So Bert Perkins, I'm sorry. You had asked me a question. Earl's given me years of entertainment via podcast, video specials, and guest appearances. Well, I appreciate that, Bert. And, I never want anyone to feel obligated to donate financially. There are ways that you can help me out, frankly, that don't involve money, hitting the like button, hit subscribe. But like William Zoom said, I'm a bartender, and you guys tipping me, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't suck. I certainly don't. I will never ask for money. I will never panhandle for money. But I'm not going to lie, it's nice to be appreciated for your years in the business. And I try and answer as many of the free questions as I can. I'm not trying to be rich streaming. I don't envision myself ever making the money that Kevin Brennan makes doing it, but it is good to be paid for your talent at time. I'm too lazy to take my shirt off. I am wearing a Motorhead t-shirt. I will be working out later. Tomorrow I have to do a on-camera audition for something that would be, I can't talk about it, but I have a decent chance of getting this. Let's just say you guys would be seeing me on a streaming service. Yeah, I loved AEW Dynamite this week. I think I posted about it. I liked the Mercedes and Willow segment. It's confusing to me, Jordan, though. I mean, it would be nice because if this thing took off, I would be at every club in the city and then some. So thank you, William, very much. What's the best wrestling show you've ever been to in person? I would say, was it Full Gear at the Forum? Very good show. WrestleMania 39, I went to the second night, was in terms of pomp and circumstance, pretty amazing, the spectacle they put on. Of course, if you want to get dirty and grungy, XPW, they had their WrestleMania, I forget what it was called, where Terry Funk and Sabu were the main event, and the tag team champions were the West Side. They were a black tag team. I'll let you guess what their name was. And they had merch. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in a wrestling event. A team called the West Side. And I know what you guys are thinking. Did you get a shirt? No, I didn't get a shirt. They were out of my size. Hello, boing, 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 boing. Um, well, I thought I'm curious. I'm going to assume Mercedes Monet, and I know some of you don't like the wrestling talk. Well, ACDC isn't here right now, so we can talk wrestling. Um, I'm assuming she's gonna win the match. I mean, they didn't bring her in here to lose her first match on a pay-per-view. So I thought the way they set it up with Willow pile driving her through a table unconscious was not the best way. But I will say that the crowd loved Willow and the crowd was booing Mercedes. So she's in as a heel now. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, SCVID show. If you had another chance to service a Hollywood producer to get a big gig, would you do it? No, I don't want it that bad. Thank you, Chris Mack, and thank you to everyone. Yeah, Santana Jackson's great. He's very fun. I got a shirt, a hat, and a West Side beanie. Of course, I flip it inside out when I'm around the brothers. Um, I think this was the first time, Jordan, that the crowd kinda showed, like, they booed Mercedes, and she's like Rick Rude, she's better as a heel. If it was Michael Bay, would I suck Michael Bay's dick, basically, to get a part in Hollywood? I honestly don't think I would. Yeah, I don't want it that bad. Now I come from the school of never say never, but, oh, boy, that's gonna have to be a lead role. And like the old Robert Schimmel joke when someone asks him if he would suck Mike Tyson's dick for $1 million, and he's like, "Hey, that buys a lot of mouthwash." Hello, Earl. If Blue Iris was alive, would you bang her for 5 grand? Not on your life. 100 grand minimum. And listen, anything's on the table when you're a 55-year-old straight white male comic. You got to think of anything you can. I mean, I just don't think I want it that bad. Um, but like I said, never say never. An older woman. What do you mean? What if it's an older woman? Well, then that's a different story. How big are the jackhammers? Uh, I'd be a grower, shower, and a blower for a Barney Miller reboot. What if I was the new $6 million man, and you can guess where 5,999,000 of that cash would go? He's pretty skinny, but man, his dick is huge. Boing! Well, guys, you think that I would do like a 3-hour stream tonight to bilk you guys for fucking money, but I'm a man of my word. And I see we have almost 40 likes, 27 people in here. I mean, maybe Friday nights are my new flagship show. I don't know, to be honest with you. Earl, we want you the new White Shadow, but I doubt women harassing men. Well, no, I mean, I was harassed. Looking back, I think I was harassed by a casting director. I'll never forget. It was a Friday night audition, which is very rare. You don't have many Friday night auditions, and it was off of La Brea. Jordan probably went to this place as well. And I was the last one auditioning. This black casting director was the only one there. And she was, so I get called into her office. So I forget what it was for. It's just a commercial, I think. And she had gigantic tits. Like I would guess double D. So I not locked the door, but I shut the door behind me, and she gets on the couch with me, and she takes off her sweater. So she had like a tank top or a tube top on, and looking back, I think let's just say she was DTF. But yes, I probably would be fish. I mean, yeah, don't. But I mean, Bert, I don't necessarily. I'd have to pull up the lyrics. Um, so I don't want. You'd think that. Oh my God, I can bilk this guy for another $50. You've been a loyal fan, Bert. Um, So I tell you what, I'm gonna sing a little bit, and if you feel like I'm doing a good job, I can't say you don't owe me any fucking money. Hold on, let me get the lyrics though, because I can't. Hold on, time out. I don't even know where you would go to. Yeah, sing a song, piano man, for the money, honey. For the money, honey. Hold on here. Never say die. Iron Eagle lyrics. All right, here's what I'm gonna do because I'm a pro. Hold on, hold on. I've got the lyrics. I work out a lot. I've got the lyrics, but I'm gonna need to hear the song. So I'm gonna go on my phone right now and play the song. See, I'm let me get a drink of caffeine. All right, let me pull up the song Iron Eagle. I've got the lyrics, but I'm going to need to hear the melody. This is Early Okie. All right. I also could sing a mean version of I Won't Forget You, Baby, but, you know, that's not what Bert Perkins wants. All right. Is it done? Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. I can do anything when I choose. Got everything, but I got nothing to lose. Go anywhere from heaven to hell. I might find the devil, you can never tell. There's 1,000 hills and valleys, a million dams and streams, an ocean of eternity between my hopes and dreams. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Nothing's forever, now or ever. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Never look back, never say die. Keyboards right now, keyboards. Don't try and bring my soul to the ground. My spirit remembers old mountain magic sounds. Against all odds, I'll come out on top, 'cause I never learned the meaning of what men stop. There's our walls and there are bridges, but no problems when you're free. An adventure past the horizons always beckons me. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Nothing's forever, now or ever. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Never look back, never say die. Guitar solo. There's a walls and there are bridges, but no problems when you're free. An adventure past the horizons always beckons me. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Nothing's for lack. Never say die, never say die, oh Iron Eagle. Nothing's forever, now or ever. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Never look back. Never say die, never say die, oh Iron Eagle. Nothing forever, now or ever. Never say die, Iron Eagle. Nothing for back. Never say die, never say die, oh Iron Eagle. That was a little extra there. You just saw what a man will do for $49.99. Burt Perkins, I'm a man of my word. Never say die. I'm a man of my word. Now for another $100, no, I'm just kidding. What if I just started charging you guys to hear me sing 80s butt rock songs? Who knows? Maybe I've stumbled in on the racket. And I don't mean tennis. Let me thank my fan funders here. Oh my God. Excuse me. Queen on. Days with Jordan the Lion. Burt Perkins. I mean, this is completely out of control. But I appreciate it. This may be the greatest Earlverse stream ever. Yes, we are beyond square. Sorry about the belch. I've never made this much money in 1 hour before. But that's okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's just going to stay on and go on and hope he gets more money out of his fans. I don't do that to my fan base. We do our streams here. And if Mr. Perkins hadn't asked me to go into a little overtime with Iron Eagle, I would have been off the air 7-8 minutes ago. But I have respect. Well, I needed Netflix as a joke. Apparently, the booker and his assistant have watched my Facebook stories, me mocking the festival. So I don't think that you will be seeing me on next year's festival. But you know what? I took a shot. Like this new positive thinking book has made me realize, fuck it. You're either with Earl Skakel or you're against me. And the bottom line is this: Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, Verve, Peacock, Paramount. You're with me or you're against me. You want to start booking good comics? I'm the guy. Sorry, I ran out of steam there. I got to be honest with you. I thought I could build up to something better to end the stream on. I saw the title of that book. There's a whole new section of books at Barnes & Noble in the self-help section that all it is books with the word fuck in it. So I bought like 5 of them. I'm probably not going to read any of them, but like, well, guys, this is the end of the stream. Well, I did bump my podcast numbers. I got busted, and I don't regret it. Because I was with. I think I can tell this story. I'll end the stream on this story. I was at Rob Riggle's Christmas party with my ex, Chandler. We're sitting there eating, and then a very famous publicist came up to me, and he's like, "Oh, I really like your podcast. You get these weird guests. I kind of like it. Like who would have thought you could get the bad guy from Superman 2? But I notice your numbers aren't very good." I'm like, "Oh, no shit." And they said, well, you know what you have to do is you have to enhance them. If you want to get the singer from Metallica instead of the fourth guitar player from Warrant, you got to enhance your numbers. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? And I knew what he meant. Um, and then he's like, everyone's doing it. I said, and now this is at the time of iTunes Comedy, not Apple Podcasts. I'm like, how many of the top 200 in iTunes Comedy enhanced their numbers? And he's like, 70. I'm like, you mean 70 out of the 200 or 70%? He's like, well, it's about the same. So 70%. So I felt like that one natural bodybuilder in the 80s. He's a black dude, maybe about 5'10", great body. But I noticed he never finished inside the top 15 of the Mr. Olympia. So I remember asking my friend at Gold's Gym, hey, how come this guy never finishes in the top 15? And he's like, oh, he's natural. He's literally the only one in the top 50 of bodybuilders who does it. He's so good that he can still finish in like the top 20, but he'll never get inside the top 15 because he's not on the gas. And I thought it meant he had bad gas. I didn't know gas meant roids. So, I just felt like that dude. And I was like, fuck it. If everyone's doing it, I'm going to do it too. I don't regret it. I wouldn't do it again, but yeah, I mean, there's many streams I see that they have like 50,000 subscribers, but only like 300 views. Like, if you look at my numbers on YouTube, I get between 100 to 250 views, and it's usually around 125 per video. That checks out with 2,300 subscribers. So the numbers, the ratio is good. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's probably why I'm not on the podcast, Rogan's podcast. He probably like, fuck Earl, he was cheating. But you know what? I got, I don't regret doing it. I regret you know, it's like that. Well, it's funny that I bought that book called Fuck It. There's that great scene in North Dallas 40, and that kind of has something to do with the bodybuilding um, analogy I just did. And it's toward the end of the movie. And, if you haven't seen North Dallas 40 in a minute, there was that black running back, Tommy Riemann, in real life, who actually played in the NFL. I think he got blackballed from the NFL for doing that movie. And, throughout the whole movie, he's always hurt, and he's doing the hot packs and the saunas, and he won't take the needle. And so for the big game, they purposely sit Nick Nolte by him in the training room, and Nick Nolte's getting his knee shot up, his shoulder shot up, and it's such a powerful scene. It's one of my favorite movie scenes ever. And Nick Nolte gets up with the doctor, and he looks at Tommy Riemann and goes, better living through chemistry, right? And everyone leaves the room, but the doctor purposely left a fully loaded needle on the table next to Tommy Riemann. And at first the camera's on Tommy Riemann's face looking at the needle, and you tell he's thinking about it. They go to the needle, and then they go back to Tommy Riemann, and he's just like, fuck it. And he shoots up. And of course, right before the start of the game, the coach, played by the great G.D. Spradlin, walks up to Nick Nolte and goes, hey, we're going to start you on the bench, but be ready. So they clearly had used Nick Nolte shooting up to influence this guy to shoot up. And that's how I felt, and, I mean, I just felt like if everyone's doing it. Problem is the guy who I used was, and I told him, I got some new people in here, so, you probably like this story more than like people like William and others who've heard it before. So I do apologize for that. But, I told the guy initially, hey, dude, I'm interviewing these pretty unknown celebrities. So keep me around 50, that's somewhat believable. I mean, I'm not a famous comic, but, it's somewhat believable. So, first I think month I was around 50, maybe 40, and but back up to 50. Okay, it's working. I'm getting a little more publicity. I'm getting celebrities reaching out to me. Hey, can we do your podcast? Blah blah blah. Because I'd had enough celebrities on, like David Arquette, where it was believable I could be in the top 50. And then, I saw one time I was at 20. I'm like, I messaged him like, hey, dude, no one's gonna believe that. You could bump me back up to 30 or 40. And when you're buying listeners or downloads, you can't really, from what I learned, you can't really, you don't have control over what exact number you're going to be. And then I woke up one Saturday morning to literally like 100 texts, DMs, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, phone calls, landline messages. And I knew without even looking, everyone, hey, go on Apple Podcasts right now or iTunes Comedy. And I was number one. It's just like busted. Pew! I would love to interview Elliot Easton. Um, David Robinson doesn't seem like he'd be down. Greg Hawkes, the keyboard player. I don't know. So that's my story of how I got caught. Yeah, John Matuszak was great in that movie. I heard there was a beef. Brian Piccolo is a great story. Now, sing Barbie Girl. I can't, anything with the word Barbie in it, I get flashbacks. I do believe North Dallas 40, and along with Slapshot, are the best two sports movies because they're realistic. I mean, that's how pro football was in the 70s. It was steroids, partying. The funny thing is, Peter Kent, who wrote the book, he was basically the Nick Nolte in real life of the Dallas Cowboys, and I think Don Meredith had a great line when asked about the movie. He's like, if I knew Peter Kent was that good, I would have thrown to him more. Hello. Boing. Hoosiers is a great movie starring the Hack Man. All right, you kids. I know I could keep going and bilk you guys, but that's really not my jam. I'm going to thank the contributors one more time. Just pretty cool. I should take a picture of this and probably, I think I will. This is very Kevin Brennan of me, but nah, you know what? I'm not going to take a picture. But thank you, Queen On, very much. Bert Perkins, Days with Jordan the Lion. You guys, unbelievable tonight. And for those of you who feel like, oh fuck, man, I can't super chat or $50, $100. I don't expect you to. Just hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. That literally helps too. So all right, I'll screenshot it just for laughs, and then we'll tweet about it. Maybe it's good publicity. Hold on. Of course, I think let me see here. I'll iPad it. Hold on here. Oops. That's what happens. Yes. All right, you kids. We'll do a stream tomorrow night, probably around 6 p.m. Saturday night. So thank you guys very much. It's nights like this, not just for the money, but it was a fun stream that make me still want to continue. Earl Skakel, over and out.